We've done a lot of different mods to this Terminator 2 cabinet, but we're not finished yet. It's time to take the 17-inch stock screen and go with the Buystuff Arcade's 19-inch monitor. So I went ahead, ordered the 19-inch monitor from Buystuff Arcades, and you get that nice Buystuffarcades.com decal right on the front here. And I just didn't have the heart to actually cut through the sticker. I was able to peel it off, but you can see where it was. We'll open this up. We'll see how this was packed up. This is my first 19-inch screen that I got from Buystuff. And you can just see how the cardboard in here is completely protecting that monitor. And there we go. Everything is on the back side of here. Now we do have the retro shooter kit installed already, so we're going to have to take that off the back side of the existing monitor, put it on here. But just to take a first look at how this looks, I went with the retro shooter style. Look at this 19-inch screen. So the red is going to be on the left instead of the blue, so it matches the retro shooter guns. I did get the 4 sensors installed, which we'll just have to plug right in. They will send this along with it. The current one I have now has only 2 sensors, and I mounted them on the left-hand side and the right-hand side. Now we have 4, all 4 corners. I mean, just look at this artwork with John Connor, Sarah Connor. This is going to be a big difference having a 19-inch screen in there. And also, depending on which shooting cabinet you have the Big Buck Hunter, Time Crisis, Fast and Furious, and looks like another Sega. So they do have 19-inch screens. This is the first of many. You can see your 19-inch screen update, instructions for stock PCB. Also, for a quick guide, visit screenswap.buystuffarcades.com. And inside is instructions if you have your stock PCB. Well, it's kind of got its mind of its own there. Just follow the steps on exactly how to remove that. Now we have the retro shooter kit, so it's going to be just a little bit different, but I'll show you how we get this set up. Now, if you're like me and you picked up retro shooter pretty much right when you first saw it, those guns will not work with the new 4-corner sensors from Buystuff Arcades. So I reached out to retro shooters. I'm looking at retro gaming, you're just kind of throwing me off. They sent me an invoice for just the 2 guns. Now they're updated guns, and I didn't have to buy another gaming box. So if you missed out on the pre-order to upgrade the guns you had, or you're buying these for the first time, you're fine. But if you have the original, I had to get these. So we'll open this up. We'll see how the updated guns look, shipping right from Retro Shooter. And I just want to add that you're kind of getting 2 reviews in this video. You're getting the Buystuff Arcades 19-inch monitor, but the whole thing is you got to have the right retro shooter guns for that screen to work, unless you just want to buy a 19-inch screen. But since I have the 4 sensors built in, I had to get some different guns, and they really package this up pretty good. Now, I wasn't sure if we'd get the actual retro shooter box, but oh, right here, I had it upside down. There's the Pandora's box. And we'll see how this is packed in the inside. So it is in the foam. You just don't have, if you purchase retro shooter, you get that logo, retro shooter, on the front. They use the same insides. They just had a different outside box. Nothing left in there. Do buy upgraded guns, they will send you 2 more sensors. So you already have 2 if you have the original. I didn't tell them, they send me them, great. Who knows, maybe I'll use it for something. But we have the same red and the blue guns, but should be a different end than the original ones that I have. It looks like you actually plug something in, so this is going to be different. See how there's a plug right here? I don't remember doing that. I just remember putting it in there, screwing it shut, and then the guns were built. They will send you these really small screws, so if you've done this before, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And this nice tool, just in case you didn't have one. Actually, I don't even know what I did with the first one they sent me. It's a T6 with the screws. Now, I will admit that the current guns I have, it kind of does get lost. The 4 sensors should really make a difference. Let's get these plugged in. Got to kind of get in there and Just kind of hear that vague little snap there, and then just press it in, and we'll get those screws and tighten this in. One by one, just go in there and work your way around. The same thing with the blue, we'll just plug these in and screw them shut. And you will see that 4 IR on the bottom of both guns. You know, they kind of feel a little bit more solid. You know, these are some good guns. Just a quick look at the back. It does have the T2, so you know you're getting the Terminator 2, and you got the plugs for those IR sensors in all 4 corners. And check this out. Exactly what you want to see is that BOE. So it's a BOE 19-inch monitor. There's some work to be done. You're gonna have to disconnect everything, but I will leave everything plugged in that I can and just unscrew this. And then you just follow the steps. Buystuffarcades.com. They actually have you remove all 4 of those screws ahead of time and then tip it over and take the side off. But we'll come back when I get this monitor out and we'll get ready to put that 19 in. And just a little friendly advice is give yourself enough space to do this, because we're basically starting over. I mean, we're really taking this apart. You can see the riser. There is stuff everywhere. I don't want to show you too much because it's not as complex as you think. It's just the fact that I had the original retro shooter Buystuff mod control deck in here, that there was a lot of different wires. But once you get this top off and you take the screws out, this will just pull right out of there. And all you'll really have left is your cord for your speaker and your cord for your marquee, because that's pretty much all that remains inside. And just looking at this, it's kind of a plug and play. There's no grounding cord. This is going to plug into your PCB and this, and it looks like we're just going to stick it on right here. We don't have to screw anything in. There's no holes, so it's going to be a little bit different than what you're used to on your Arcade1up, but yeah, pretty much a plug and play. It just drops right in. It will just sit flat. We'll put the other side on, we'll screw it in, flip it up, tighten those screws, and we're halfway done. Now I'll have a link in the description for Buystuff Arcade's complete removal of the 17-inch monitor and with their 19-inch. Everyone's is going to look a little bit different depending on if you have the stock PCB, if you have the retro shooter, Buystuff Arcade. So I will show you how mine will look. I'm just about to plug everything in, and it's going to take some time to try to weave everything through. The retro shooter kit does have a lot of cords. It's just going to take a little bit of patience. Now I did come across something with that ground wire because there's no holes right here. I called my buddy Chaotic BPR, and I'm going to have a link for his video too. He did a review on this same monitor. What I did was I tucked it behind that corner, took the screw, put it in, and then covered it with electrical tape. That's the only way I know how to ground it. There's nothing else I could do. So if you run into this, it's how it looked in his video, and I did the same thing. I just tucked it the back side, put the screw in, and then covered it with tape. Now you will get 4 new IR modules with the upgraded guns, and just plug those right in to those 4 corners. What a difference this makes. I mean, 2 inches is huge. I mean, going from the 17 to the 19, and we are exactly corner to corner 19 inches on this monitor. And just to compare, here's the original 17-inch. You see the bottom, Terminator 2, Judgment Day. You see John Connor, you see Sarah Connor, and then you look at the 19-inch. It takes up so much more space on the bottom. You don't have that Terminator 2. You don't see this right here. I think Buystuff really knocked it out of the park with this one. And these were kind of an eyesore. I mean, I gotta admit, I mean, you didn't really see it a lot when you'd play, but you can see, you know, they do stick out, those original 2 IR modules. Now I had to turn the lights off. You could not see these. You have the red lights at the top, and then at the bottom, those are your sensors. And you don't step back. I mean, you can see it showing up with the lights off, but if I turn the lights on, you can't even see them. I mean, it does show up on the camera, but honestly, like where I'm standing, I don't see it. So it's better than it's sticking out. It looks really good. I like the T2 on the top, the artwork. Now I'm going to be completely honest here. You can see I do have the crosshairs on. We have the 4 sensors. We have the new retro shooter gun. Now look how accurate this is. We're not going to lose this crosshair. I'll admit, with my previous 2 sensors, I'd lose it. Sometimes it would go up in the corner and I'd have to shake the gun. Now look at it. This plays as accurate as the real thing. Like if we're actually playing the Lethal Enforcers arcade, it's unbelievable. The new guns from Retro Shooter, the 19-inch upgrade with the 4 sensors from Buystuff, this is perfect. See exactly how Area 51 plays with the new monitor, with the improved Retro Shooter guns. And we do have the crosshairs on. I mean, it is accurate. I mean, this is definitely the way to go. And any angle you look at the monitor, there's not going to be any washout. It's a crystal clear BOE monitor. I mean, it is absolutely perfect. I look at it with both guns playing. You see the crosshairs, we're not losing them. They work absolutely perfect. I mean, they move around. And the best part is you get your T2 back. So if you did this mod, you still have Terminator 2 on here. It's not like you lose this game. Now it's an affordable mod, but it's a costly mod. It's gonna, you know, if you have to buy a cabinet, if you got to buy the retro shooters, the upgrade screen, it's gonna cost a little bit, but it's probably your cheapest bet to get this all on an arcade form factor. And you can just see the way this is playing right now. It's absolutely perfect. I mean, I just played Revolution X at the arcade, and I honestly can't tell the difference other than not having a third gun, because I did see an actual 3-player, 3-gun Revolution X at Galloping Ghost. This is a huge win. If you have the retro shooter, if you have an Arcade1up, pretty much any Arcade1up, you'll be able to put this mod in. You don't necessarily need a Terminator 2 or a Time Crisis or a Big Buck Hunter. I think you could pretty much take any Arcade1up, put the control deck in, and hook up your retro shooter guns. Now, if you've been following the channel, you heard about a little issue that I had with my Pandora box. The box I'm using right now is from Buystuff Arcades. They loaned me a loaner. They threw a couple extra games on here. They threw the Revolution X. And it also came with Dragon's Lair 2. This is an update that we can all do by hooking up through our Wi-Fi. I want to say thank you to Buystuff for sending me this so we can do the review on the monitor and I could play some of these games like Revolution X from my own home. The customer service at Retro Shooter is unbelievable. If you've never ordered anything from them, if you have concerns, they will work with you. I bought mine in September, October 2023. Recently stopped working. They sent me a brand new box. Actually came today. So if you have any questions about Retro Shooter, Buystuff Arcades, please leave a comment. I'd be happy to answer it. Now, if there was anything that I could do differently, if I could go back in time, installing the Retro Shooter kit, the Buystuff Arcade selector deck, or if you did the encoder board, I would have did everything at once. The 19-inch upgrade screen, the Retro Shooter, the selector deck, everything, because I had to take it apart a second, third time. You know, I did change the marquee a long time ago. How many times do you want to open up your cabinet? There's a lot of wires that's involved with the Retro Shooter, and it's challenging to get them all tucked away. There's a certain way to put them through the back so you can close the backside. And during the process of finishing up on this monitor, it was kind of challenging. So I just want to throw that out there, that if you're thinking about doing it, I know it's kind of costly, but again, I can't hit anything right now, but it is very challenging, and I recommend only doing it one time. And just to confirm, you get 5,178 games through your retro shooter. Why not upgrade, throw the biggest screen you can in your Arcade1up, and get the most of it? I have been waiting forever to play this game on my Terminator 2, and having it, I mean, this is like next level stuff. This is such a game changer. There's going to be so much more replayability. The fact of the crosshairs, the guns, I mean, look at this, working so much better than the previous with just the 2 IR sensors. Retro Shooter has nailed it with these upgraded guns, the 4 IR, and Buystuff Arcades has nailed this 19-inch BOE monitor, guys. It is awesome. I want to thank everybody for watching. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment. I'd be happy to answer anything I can. This is awesome. I mean, we got Revolution X on Terminator 2. I'll see you guys next time. I mean, did you ever think we'd have this at home? Like, playing it on a Terminator 2 cabinet. It was meant to be on this cabinet.